A very good morning, my dear students. Today we are going to study about the Indian economy, chapter 7. Still we are in the 7th lesson. In the 7th lesson we have started already. So in that 7th lesson we had an introduction about the Indian economy, the meaning and growth and development. And the last class we have discussed the features of Indian economy and what are the weakness in Indian economy. So in this chapter mainly we are going to study about our Indian economy in overall in various sectors. So first we have discussed the meaning and the development and growth and features of Indian economy, and also we study about the weakness of our Indian economy. So we have to study in all over, in all the sectors. Not only we study the particular sectors, we are going to study the whole study of aggregate economy. That's why we study that in macroeconomics as a aggregate level. So aggregate means we study the total of the economy, the total study of the Indian economy. It may be a population, or it may be a literacy, or it may be a national income. So likewise we will be going on and telling about all those things. We are all going to study about, these are all the things. So in this lesson we study about the growth, we study about the development, we study about the features of Indian economy, and we study also what are the weakness of our Indian economy. Up to that we have concluded in the last session. Today we are going to the same chapters in Indian economy, the demographic trends in India. So we have to study all those things. Then only we can study and we can to know about our Indian economy is growth or developing or developed or undeveloped or underdeveloped. From all the notifications of all the points that we are going to study, then we come to know that our Indian economy is stable in growth or developing or developed or undeveloped or developed in various sectors. So we are going to study by one. Today we are going to study about the same chapter, demographic trends in India. In the demographic trends in India means is nothing but we study about the scientific study of characteristics. The scientific study of characteristics of population is known as demographic trend. So the various aspects in the demographic trends in India there are 7 points in our book as given. The demographic trends in India. So we study about size of the population. Second one, rate of growth. And third one, birth rate and death rate. And density of the population. And sex ratio. And life expectancy. And last one, literacy ratio. So these are all the demographic trends. So we have to study all those things. Then only we come to know, especially we are going to study about the population, because only the population only can say about the economical growth or the total demand of the people or the total income of the people. So all mainly it depends upon the population. So that's why the size of the population we are going to study about. The first one, the population growth. There is a table is given in page number 147. There is a census, population census has taken from 1901 to up to 2011. In our book we have the population in crores and annual average or average annual growth rate. It is given in our book. So when I teach, you follow the book. First one, the size of the population in 1901. The population in crores 23.84. and average is nothing. And in 1911, 25.21 average and population growth and 0.56 is average. So likewise, see the last one, the 2011, 121.02 crores population and average annual growth rate of 2011, 1.66. So it is the table and the population in growth in year and average annual growth rate in every year we have seen in the table. So when I teach, you follow, then only you can understand what is the rate of the size of the population from year to year and average. So over the period of 100 years, India has quadrupled its population size in terms of size of population. India ranks second the world after the China. You know that the China has more population in the world. So after the China, our India has the population growth in second. So India has only about 2.4% of the world's geographical area and contributes less than 1.2% of the world's income, but accommodates about 17.5% of the world's population. In other words, every sixth person in the world is an Indian. In fact, the combined population of just two states, namely Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra, is more than the population of United States of America, the third most populous country of the world. So some of the states in India have large population than many countries in the world. So during the 1951, the population growth rate has come down from 1.33% to 1.25%. Hence, it is known as year of small divide. In 1961, population of India started increasing at the rate of 1.96% and 2%. Hence, 1961, the year is known as year of population explosion. The explosion means the overpopulation. So in the year of 1951, the year of small divide population. So in the after 10 years, see that between the 10 years, again the year of population is explosion is called in 1961 population. In the year 2001, the population of India crossed 1 billion. So it means 100 crore. So we have a cross in 2001. From 2001, we have a more population, that is 100 crore. And 2011 census reveals the growth of youth population, which is described as demographic transition. So it is called the size of the population. So you know that the size of the population in year by year in your book has given from 1901 to 2011. So the population growth in crores and average annual growth rate in population. So there is a table already I have told you. So when you see that in every year how the population size increasing or decreasing. So you see that. Next one, birth rate and death rate. So why we are all study about the population, why we are all study about the birth rate and death rate, then only we can calculate or we can make any economical activities on the people, whether maybe an employment opportunities or whether about we know about the income of the people or personal income. So whatever we know to know about the economical activities, so we have to study all those things. So in this we have discussing. Second one, the birth rate and death rate. The birth rate and death rate, it refers that crude birth rate, crude death rate. So your book has given crude birth rate and crude death rate. Crude birth rate means it refers to the number of births per thousands of population. Per thousands of population is called crude birth rate, and other crude death rate, it refers to the number of death per thousands of the population. So crude birth rate and death rates of India during the various years is also his book is given in your book, birth rate and death rate. The year CBR, crude birth rate, and CDR, crude death rate. See page number 148. Birth rate was 39.9 in 1951 and fell to 21.8 in 2011. Nalla paathuko, from 1951 39.9, then in the last 2011 21.8. So it has declined, is not as a remarkable. The death rate has declined from 27.4 in 1951 to 77.1 in 2011. However, from the data is clear that the fall birth rates is less than the death rates. So Kerala has the lowest birth rate 14.7 and Uttar Pradesh has highest birth rate 29.5%. West Bengal has lowest death rate 6.3% and Orissa 9.2% has highest among the states. Bihar has the highest decadal 2001 to 11 growth rate of population, while Kerala has lowest growth rate. So the four states, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh and Bimar states has very high population. So it is called birth rate and death rate, and I told you crude birth rate and crude death rate. And third one we are going to study about the density of the population. What's the density of the population? It refers to the average number of persons residing per square kilometer. Residing per square kilometer. It represents the man-land ratio as the total land area remains the same, and increase in the population causes density of the population to rise. So please understand, density na makkal tolluடைய அடர்த்தி, population உடைய அடர்த்தி தான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்றோம், density ன்னு சொல்றோம். So the density of the population, total population divided by the land area of a region. See, the density of population, number of persons per square kilometer in 1951, 117 persons, and 2001 there will be 325 persons, and 2011 there will be 382 persons. Just before independence, the density of the population was less than the 100, but after the independence it has increased rapidly from 117 in 1951 to 325 in 2001. According to 2011 census, the present density of the population is 382 per square kilometer. So thus the pressure of population on land has been rising. So from 51 to 2011, per square kilometers number of persons, the birth rate, when we are seeing that there is a growing, the population is increasing day by day. So the density of population is, pressure of the population of the land has been rising. Kerala, West Bengal, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh have density higher than the India's average density. Bihar is the most densely populated state in the country with 1102 persons in living per square kilometer, and followed by West Bengal with 880, and Arunachal Pradesh has low density of the population of only 17% per square kilometer. So when I teach you have to go with your book. Then only in which state the density of the population is high. Per square kilometer, how much of the persons are populated or pressure of the population on the land has been rising. So only when I teach you have to follow this all those things, then only you come to know the variation and the number of population in square kilometer, that is called density of the population. And next one, sex ratio. Sex ratio means how much of male, how much of female. It refers to the number of females per 1000 males. It is an important indicator to measure the extent of prevailing equity between the males and the females at a given point of time. So there also one table, census in year from 1951 to 2011. The sex ratio of females per 1000 males 946, and 2011 933, for 2011 940. So more or less it may be an equal to the male. Maybe the male, maybe some of the points has been increasing than the female, but when the average, when there is a population of India more, and the male and the female more or less equal. So in India the sex ratio more favorable to the males than to females. In Kerala the adult sex ratio is 1084 as in 2011. The recent census in 2011 shows that there has been marginal increase in the sex ratio. Haryana has lower sex ratio of 877 in 2011 among other states, while Kerala provides better status to women as compared to other states in 1084. Females per 100 males. When we compare with other states, Kerala has more females than the males. So more or less I told you it is unfavorable. In total in India the population 1000 male and 900 and something the females, but only in the Kerala, that state only has more females than the male, but overall when we come to average, the population of male and female is more or less equal. So it is about our Indian population. Then only why you are studying? You may raise the question, sir, in Indian economy, why sir we are all studying about the size of the population? Why we study about the crude birth rate and crude death rate? Why we study about the density of the population? Why we study about the sex ratio? Only when we come to know about the total population in the economy, only through the population only we can do all the economical activities, whatever the things. That's why we study deeply in the 7th lesson in the Indian economy. We study about the features of Indian economy and also the weakness of the Indian economy. We study about the growth and the development. Now we study about the demographic trends that we follow. And next one, the sex ratio we have studied. Next, literacy ratio. Literacy ratio and life expectancy. Now we study about the life expectancy of the birth. Then we study about the last point, the literacy ratio. Life expectancy of the birth, it refers to the mean of expectation of life at birth. Life expectancy has improved over the years. Life expectancy is low when death rate is high. Okay? When the death rate is high, then the incidence of yearly death rates are high. Only on the other hand, life expectancy is high when death rate is low, or other instance the yearly death rates are low. See the same, there is a table for every point, there is a table. Life expectancy year, male, female and overall. So from 1951 to 2011, the life expectancy has marked and you see in your book. So during the 1901, there is an 11 life expectancy was just 23 years. So in the life expectancy, the year from 1951 to 2011, male and female and overall gender of India is given and see in the table. So the life expectancy was just 23 years. It increased to 63.5 years in 2011. So a considerable fall in death rate is responsible for improvement in the life expectancy at birth. However, the life expectancy in India is very low compared to that developed countries. Even though we have many more hospitals, medicines as given, anyhow our death rate is low and birth rate is increasing. But when we compare with other developed countries, so our life expectancy is lower than them. And last one, literacy ratio. See the literacy, how much of people they are educated, how much of people uneducated. In various sectors, how people they are employed according to their literacy ratio. It refers to the number of literates as a percentage of total population. In 1951, only 1/4 of male and 1/12 of female were literates. Please listen. In 1951, only 1/4 of male and 1/12 of female were literates. Thus, on an average, only 1/6 of the people of the country were literates. In 2011, 82% of male and 65.5% of female were literates, giving an overall literacy rate of 74.04% in 2011. So when compared to other developed countries and even Sri Lanka, this rate is very low. So even though in the 2011 there is an 82% of the male and a 65% of female, but we compare with other countries, even with Sri Lanka, we in the low literacy rate with other countries or with other states, even though when we are increasing. So that's why we study deeply in every male and female of that, the sex ratios and literacy ratios. And the census year 1951 to 2011, the literate person, male 18.3, from 18.3, the male is 27.2 and female is 8.9. And 2011, the last census, 74.04 literate person, from that 82.1 male and 65.5 female literacy ratio. And Kerala has highest literacy ratio, 92%, followed by Goa, 82%. Himachal Pradesh 76, Maharashtra 75%, and Tamil Nadu only 74%. Bihar has the lowest literacy ratio and 53% in 2011. But in overall in India, the literacy ratio is an high level. Only the Bihar is the lowest literacy ratio. So my dear friends, this is in the chapter in the Indian economy, in the topic of demographic trends in India, we have seen the 7 points: size of the population, rate of growth, birth rate and death rate, density of the population, and sex ratio, and life expectancy and literacy ratio, that we are all studied in deeply with every table and with every year. So we come to know how much of people educated, how much of population in from 1951 to 2011, how much of people difference between the female and male, how much of people literacy and illiteracy, how much of people in literacy in male, in literacy in female. And when we compare with other states, with Kerala and Himachal Pradesh, Maharashtra and Bihar, in our Tamil Nadu, in how much of percentage. So we study in every states of the percentage of literacy and non-literacy and life expectancy and life ratio and life expectancy of the birth. So these are all we studied in this class. I hope that in this topic we have covered about the demographic trends in India. These are all we have to study. Only when you study, we come to know the growth or our Indian economy. That's I told you is a mixed economy. It is not a only depends upon the capitalist or not only depends upon the socialist economy. So we have the mixed economy, the capitalist economy and socialist economy, that is called a mixed economy. Our Indian economy is a mixed economy. That's why we study all those things, the demographic trends. So my dears, you see that the topic, and we come to know about the population and the density and the literacy, illiteracy, male and female, and sex ratio and the density of the population and birth rate and death rate. So only when you study, we can do all our economical activities only by the population. So with that, I can conclude this class. Then we will meet in the next class, the same lesson about the natural resources. Until then, I will get the answer from you. Thank you. God bless you. One and all. Thank you.